Hey everybody, and welcome to what are we called now? Oh yeah, the joy of stupidity. Um, for those of you who have been under a rock and somehow only found us, today we're talking about the Nintendo Switch, which was announced 2 days ago, a day ago.
For me, it was 2 days ago because I just woke up and was like seeing Facebook just blew up about the Switch. I'm like, what in the hell is this Switch thing?
Yeah, pretty much the same for me. And then Simon sent me the video, and I watched it. Now, Simon, what were your first impressions when you watched the video?
When I first saw that, I was like, hey, it looks like a glorified black version of the Wii U tablet. That is not a console. And then as I started watching the video, I'm like, what in the good Lord heavens is this?
Yeah, I had a big smile stuck on my face from side to side. I mean, it looks like a glorified games console. It looks like it looks like a tablet which you just take out with you everywhere. You play games, you do the odd few things, you network on it, and then the guy sat on the plane, took the controllers off, propped it up, and sat there played video games on a plane. I was like, I want one. I want one. I want one.
The funny thing is, though, is this has been a joke since the original Wii, at least on Reddit and various like 4chan crap like that, is people taking like an iPad or a Samsung Galaxy tablet, taking Wii Chucks or whatever the hell they're called. I never played with them, and then just either taking a zip tie or super gluing them to the side, and then just putting Nintendo on it, and boom, there's your console. And ironically, that's pretty much what this has turned into.
It
And
is.
it's just kind of really funny. That's actually what's happened.
It is kind of funny that that's what's happened, but if you think about it, Nintendo have had the mobile market under in hand
It
since they brought the freaking Game Boy out. It's always been Nintendo. As much as Sega tried and Sony have tried, Nintendo have always outmatched everybody when it came to the mobile market. When it came to the console market, on the other hand, there was that time when Nintendo was king, and now it's like the special cousin in the corner you don't want to talk about.
well, Nintendo's had a very strong hold over the game console market until what was it, the sixth generation? I could be completely wrong, but until the or not Super Nintendo, I'm sorry, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and then the GameCube version. Well, I still think the GameCube was very good, and I had one. It's just they didn't have the support that they wanted to, but that was also the era of we're going to turn Nintendo into family gaming, where Sony and Xbox decided to actually start growing up with the generations. And that's just been a snowball effect ever since. But hopefully, something like this can actually change.
Yeah, well, we got to admit, Nintendo have always been family market, but that's how games consoles started. They were family market. They were things. Heck, my parents, when I had a Nintendo Entertainment System, me and my brother went to bed, and my parents started playing Super Mario Brothers behind our backs. They were better than we were. That's how Nintendo was. That's the era Nintendo are from. PlayStation, on the other hand, that's when teenagers started admitting to playing video games.
I never had a problem with it. I never had my parents play video games.
I've got
You
to,
must have been special.
I've got to admit, yeah, but you're younger than me. Let's not forget that. I've got to admit though, with the Wii U, the Wii U's little tiny monitor inside of that big honking controller with limited graphics capability, this is the ultimate evolution. This looks like it's going to have at least high definition capabilities with full range of gameplay. It looks like, as a parent, I'm going to be able to sit down and play the computer when my son, who you may or may not hear in this video making noises, wants to watch some TV. I could pull out the tablet and continue playing the games, which to me is an awesome idea. The Wii U was Nintendo's biggest failure, hands down,
Well, I
complete and
think
total
next to the
failure.
Virtual Boy.
Just like Nintendo, we don't talk about that.
Well, ultimately, it comes down to it's just a Wii U with removable pads, and it's black. It looks a lot more attractive than that ugly little pad was.
Oh, it's bigger than the Wii U pad as well.
Oh, is it? I didn't
Yeah.
look at the dimensions, but
No,
I'm
you
okay
can
with
just
that.
tell by the people holding it. It's bigger than the Wii U. And the Wii U's monitor was like half the size of this thing. And
I think it was only by like 5x7 or something, wasn't it?
It was ridiculously tiny, which made it stupid. It was like, I think the monitor was about the same size as the monitor you have on a 3DS Giant or whatever they call them.
I have no idea. Oh, it's 3DS XL, is that what it is? I don't
Yeah,
play
that one.
handheld games. I think they're dumb, but that's me.
I don't mind playing handheld games, but the consoles have to be within my price range. I'm a parent. My price range isn't exactly great. This sells to me just on the fact that not only is it a console, but I can take it and play portably. I can play mobile.
Which is like a good idea and a bad idea at the same time. I mean, they're trying to cannibalize. Actually, I don't know if they're trying to, but it looks like in a way they're going to try to cannibalize their 3DS market, which they have a stranglehold on, other than smartphones. But as you know, they're either going to either merge them by putting backwards compatibility for 3DS games into the Switch, or if Nintendo is just going to completely disappear on that and then just go into the smartphone market like Pokemon Go. As much as I hate Pokemon, but it's made them a lot of money.
Yeah, you getting banned from Facebook because of Pokemon. That's another story. We can cover at a later date if anybody wants to know about it.
I doubt it, but it's a funny story.
But, yes, I have a feeling they might cannibalize their 3DS market, which is actually losing ground because of mobile gaming on your phone and your tablet. Heck, I play a crap ton of games on my tablet. And yet I still play a crap ton of games on my PC. I don't play much on my console, but if my console can go with me wherever I like, I probably would play it more often.
Well, as long as you don't end up breaking it by dropping it or having it stolen, that's the biggest concerns for me. I mean, if someone sees that you're playing a console of that sort, but given you don't know how how expensive these pieces are going to be with the dock, with the screen, with the controllers, that's another concern I have. Is that's great for adults, but what does Nintendo always try to appeal to? I'm sorry, family and little kids, and having controllers not connected to the console physically, permanently. I guess that's probably what I should have said instead. There's a very high probability of getting lost or broken, especially mobile wise. So I mean, as an adult, you're going to pretty much take good care of it, but there's always the possibility of a little snap in to lock in to the controller. Those breaking and then just losing it. That's my biggest thing right there.
Yeah, that's that is a good possibility of what could happen. Although they may bring in some kind of straps to keep those attached to you. Just in case.
Those stupid Wii U chuck straps. Those things are so dumb.
They were. I never used them, and I was never one of these people who ended up throwing it at somebody's head. At least not without a reason.
I would like to throw a nunchuck at someone's house. Too bad the police would get called.
So,
go ahead.
See, overall, though, do you think it's Nintendo? I think, personally, from my point of view, this is what the Wii U should have been.
Yes, it should have been from the get-go. I agree.
This is Nintendo screwed up royally. It just wasn't. The Wii U just was not innovative enough. You had to have the console, even if you were going to play on the little dippy pad. This is the console going with you. This is what I think the Wii U should have been and could have been if they'd done it right. And just because they took a little while longer, they finally made it work.
Well, it's not so much that they couldn't have done it back when the Wii U was released. Nintendo, and I'm going to get a lot of flame for this because of the Nintendo fanboys that actually find this video, is Nintendo is slow. They get this idea in their head of, you know what, we don't want to play with Nintendo, or sorry, Xbox and PlayStation. We want to do our own thing, and we want to work on our gimmicks. And the problem being was technology was there, and they're trying to appeal to the people that don't want to fork out $400 to $500 at a time for a console like the PS4 and the Xbox One were. And that's not necessarily a good thing. If someone wants it bad enough, or you have multiple kids, go in together for like the big Santa present. Because I can see with the new technology in this, that tablet screen is going to look great. I'm guessing at least 1080p at now in 2016, almost 2017 now. Well, it's going to release in March 2017, sorry. So there's almost no excuse, actually there is no excuse, that this does not have at least 1080p, especially with an NVIDIA processor in there.
I agree. Now we're going to go into the technology a bit more. The NVIDIA processor itself, you are way more up to date when it comes to that kind of technology than I am.
Well, NVIDIA is currently the leader in graphics processing. Adreno is also really good, but that's also more smartphone and energy. NVIDIA, with their mobile chips, aren't so much targeting mobile devices, so handsets, cell phones, etc. They do dip once in a while in tablets, but not very often. That's more of their NVIDIA Shield and things like that, which people usually plug into their wall. So it's not usually a big deal. But that's why it makes sense that they're going to allow it to actually come out of the dock and then go out. But that's going to be a question of what the actual battery life is going to be. And when I do say battery life, you're going to expect, because I know the 3DS has actually excellent battery life. I've heard anywhere from like 8+ hours. And that's even like sometimes with the 3DS 3D function on, and even more so with it off.
Yeah. What did you think when you found out that it was an NVIDIA going into it, though? Because you know from past experience, Nintendo have never really gone high-end technology.
Well, NVIDIA hasn't actually ran into the console market since, I believe, the Xbox original. I can't say Xbox One anymore because great marketing scheme there, Microsoft. So that's pretty much how it is. So it's just interesting that Nintendo, of all the brands, would actually reach out to NVIDIA and say, hey, we want your hardware in our system. Which I think is like interesting, but NVIDIA has a habit of like being very locked down and making emulation hell. But Nintendo likes to make emulation hell. But it's funny because I was seeing probably 3 or 4 days ago that the Cemu emulator for the Wii U is actually fully playable on Mario Kart 8, which I think is awesome. So that means I can finally play Skyward Sword without feeling like a complete dumbass.
Now, we did have this argument at work when I found out that Nintendo were looking at SD technology, and I thought going back to cartridges was a great idea, and you were like, no, this is the best thing ever, and no, going back to cartridges would be stupid, and now you've seen that they've gone back to cartridges. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm going to say the biggest benefit is if they do backwards compatibility. I'm really curious to know if this is going to have a CD or DVD drive. Not a CD drive, a DVD drive, for the backwards compatibility for the Wii U, because Nintendo is actually really great with that. But I'm not sure how that's going to be implemented. If so, it's probably going to have at least some kind of internal hard drive, maybe an SSD. I haven't heard anything about that in the tech specs, and we probably won't hear about that until closer to release date. But I mean, the load times are insanely fast, so that's going to be extremely interesting to see how Microsoft and Sony are going to answer to that. Because even still, like loading up Halo 5 or the Master Chief Collection can still take anywhere from 45 seconds to a minute, like on a good day. So loading up Zelda like that is going to be huge. Like, especially the day you get it home and you just open it. I mean, there might be a small patch, but beyond that, that's going to be amazing. And it's going to make open worlds like this new Zelda that's going to be touted to be Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's going to be completely seamless. No load screens at all.
Exactly. Now, I would be surprised if they do have disc compatibility, because Looking at all these images, I've seen it from almost every angle now. There's nowhere for them to have a disk drive. None. Zip, zero, zilch, nada. Now, they might, because they've got several ports for you to plug stuff into, they might make an adapter for you to plug in and play discs, but I think they're going 100% cartridge, and the cartridges themselves look very much like the 3DS cartridges right now, just maybe a bit chunkier.
Well, it just seems off to me that they wouldn't have some kind of backwards compatibility with the Wii U, because that's something that Nintendo have done for like every single generation.
If I was Nintendo, I would pretend that the Wii U never happened.
Well, we would all like to think that, but the community of Nintendo diehard supporters, or I call them Nintendrones, are either pissed or they're absolutely loving this. And there's like no middle ground, which is hilarious.
Yep. Now, we're going to move on to the one other piece of information we actually know about Nintendo. Their partners. And we're not going to... I've got this huge list of partners on the Nintendo's website, and I'm not going to read it all the way off, because some of them I can't read because they're in Japanese, some of them I can't read because they're freaking tiny. I'm going to pick out the ones which everybody and their mother, their brother, their aunt, their uncle, and maybe even their grandparents actually know some of these. So in this list of partners for technology, we have the likes of Udity, Silicon Studio, Rad Game Tools, Fmod. For the likes of actual game makers, we have some of the biggest names out there: Activision, EA, Konami, Sega, Capcom, Bethesda, obviously, and Square Enix. Oh, and Warner Brothers. Let's not forget about the big brothers who keep screwing up their own movie franchises.
Well, most of those are publishers, but they do own a lot of those developers. Okay, Activision has Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and then I think the publishers, whoever Dead Space was, I can't think of their name at the moment. But anyways, what's funny, and we were talking about this before the video, is that you have both 2K and that you have Bethesda that were showing their game titles on the Wii U. The ironic part is that they haven't actually confirmed that, hey, these games are going to be on the Switch, which I think is very, cynical, shady of Nintendo to be showing that and not confirming it. Obviously, they did show a screenshot of the new Mario game, which I'm not a huge Mario fan, but I think they're usually pretty good games, but that's going to sell a lot. And obviously, we know Breath of the Wild's coming. So having both the Mario and Zelda game probably at launch or very close to launch is going to be huge for them.
Oh yeah, and I have no doubt that Bethesda, at least with Skyrim, are going to announce officially the game, but they want to make sure that it's working first. So they don't want to say, yeah, this game's coming and it's going to be on release day, and then it doesn't come out on release day because, heck, they ran into technical troubles because Nintendo are still holding back on the full specs and capabilities right now.
Well, I'm sure they know. It's just Nintendo isn't wanting to release it to us because, you and me are both PC gamers, so we like to sit here and be like, well, what are the specs of this console versus, a moderately priced PC? Am I getting good price per performance, or am I paying a premium just for first-party titles? I mean, obviously, like, God of War to Nintendo, or not to Nintendo, sorry, to PlayStation, Halo to Xbox, and Zelda, Mario to Nintendo. I don't know
Sega to everybody.
Well, Sega, shot themselves in the foot multiple times with their consoles, so.
Yeah, that's another video we can do at a later date with how badly Sega screwed up. But the one thing they haven't managed to kill yet, for no lack of trying, obviously, they haven't managed to kill Sonic the Hedgehog just yet. He's still there, he's still jogging along, and no doubt will appear on the Nintendo Switch.
Well, I have no doubt he'll show up. They're going to be doing another Sonic here soon, and I'm sure they'll do another, Olympic Games that they've done, 8 years now?
They tend to do them for every Olympic Games.
Yep.
They're every 2 years. You have a summer and a winter Olympics every 2 years, 4 years between each summer and 4 years between each winter.
Yep, typical shovelware.
Yeah, that's how the Olympic Games work, and I don't play games. If it's a sports game, I'm not going to play it. I'm going to go outside and actually play the sport. Even if it means breaking a leg, I'd rather do that than sit there and get fat playing the game.
I've always wanted to go bobsledding.
Now, I'm not surprised with Capcom, if I'm entirely honest. I'm not surprised because Nintendo has started moving themselves more into the beat 'em up market, into the like Street Fighter type markets with, what was it? Pokemon something.
Oh, I know what you're talking.
Pokken.
Pokken tournament, something like that.
Yeah, which sounds like a rip-off of Tekken with Pokemon, which it is, basically. But anyway, yeah, so I'm not surprised that Nintendo have Capcom on board. I would not be surprised to see some of their, like, Street Fighter games appearing all of a sudden. They are currently available on the Wii U for download.
Are they? I wouldn't know.
Oh, it's either the Wii or the Wii U. I cannot remember. Nintendo has sort of dropped out of my frame of consoles. Heck, every
that's kind of
console's
how I am as
dropped
well.
off for me. I play all my games on PC right now.
Well, I mean, PC is on absolutely dominating all the consoles right now. I mean, there's a reason why the last 5 years, if you're a PC gamer, you don't buy consoles except a Wii U or a Wii unless you want to have those nice party games. Or like you said, you're the antisocial PC gamer that just sits on his computer all day and just plays Steam.
I've been playing BSGO lately.
I've been playing the Overwatch. Probably more than I should.
Yeah, considering you don't get enough sleep before we actually go to work.
I'll be fine.
For those of you not in the know, we both work in the same place. Roughly at the same times, too.
Yep.
Square Enix. Now, a lot of people know this and some people don't. Final Fantasy started on Nintendo, then got picked up by PlayStation because, heck, with their specs way higher than the Nintendo console equivalent at the time. But did you know that Crystal Chronicles are Nintendo's exclusive from Square Enix?
Really?
Yeah, you can only play Crystal Chronicle games on a Nintendo system. They're not available on any other console.
Well, it's on PC because you can emulate. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, but that's because you're emulated. Yeah, the actual games can only be bought for Nintendo systems, and that was started during the Wii era.
Well, I thought they did something similar to Tales of Symphonia for that as well, but again, that was actually a third-party. Oh no, Square Enix is third-party as well, huh?
Yes,
I guess it just must have been a very ironclad licensing deal.
Now, there are a lot of games companies on here, though. I can't wait to see what kind of games we haven't released, because this list of partners, even though it's not a complete list, it's a sampling of Nintendo Switch partners. This is already larger than the Wii U's list.
Well, the Wii U, they promised the world and gave us very little. Honestly, like, looking at the Wii U, there was the Skyward Sword and there was Splatoon. 2 years ago, I almost bought, was it 2 years ago, a year ago? I don't remember. Whenever Splatoon came out, I think it was the end of 2014, I almost bought a Wii U solely for Splatoon. And I'm so glad I didn't because it had a huge hype train going for about 6 months, and then the community just died. And it wasn't because the game was bad. I still think the game is amazing. And I think they actually advertised Splatoon on that video, if I do recall correctly. But their idea of just, hey, let's take away voice chat and all communication other than tapping your tablet out of a team-based shooter. I'm like, Nintendo, what are you doing? This is the age of FPSs. Blizzard, EA, and Activision. Call of Duty, Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, Battlefield, like, Nintendo, seriously, grow up.
That said, with Activision, Treyarch Studios, Call of Duty could very well appear on this. Now, Nintendo, as we've covered previously in our own personal discussions, Nintendo USA have been very family market branch, but Nintendo Japan, they do a lot of things which would make most parents turn pale.
Well, I would be glad for Nintendo Japan to come to America. I would love that.
I would love for Nintendo to not be editing themselves when you can still import the Japanese version and have all the fun and functionality.
Well, the thing is, though, that's region locking, which Nintendo is notorious for. Is you would actually have to import Nintendo console from Japan and import the game as well. So you're paying double the price. Pointless, sorry.
I think we've covered everything until such time as Nintendo release specs, at which point we will revisit this for everybody.
Yep.
Everybody being all two of the viewers who watch our videos. I'm pretty sure one of those is my wife.
That's fine. If anyone gets more information or would like to correct us, you're more than welcome, or point us to more ideas, whichever. Hit us up. We'd be glad. I know we haven't been doing videos as much recently, especially me. But we'd be glad to listen. We'd be glad to make amends and changes or updates.
Yep, we've been a little busy. Me most especially over on Zaberwolf Studios for the time being. Or Zaberwolf Games, sorry. I've been very busy over there trying to put everything in place. So
He's put a lot of work into that stuff, and I don't do enough, so...
Yeah, so if you want to see what's been keeping me busy, you can head on over there. Other than that, yeah, I think we've covered everything. If you've got anything you want to say, put it in the comments. I'm not going to say anything other than that because I hate people who do that. I hate channels which do that. But either way, it looks like the Nintendo Switch is finally going to give us something different in the console market, just like the Wii did, and not like the Wii U.
I just really hope they can redeem themselves in some manner.
So do I. I'd like to see Nintendo actually force people to grow up again, like they did with the Xbox and the PlayStation when they made them all move to the motion capture controls.
I just want them to push Xbox and PlayStation to actually do something. You know, like, I don't like the PlayStation Move. I don't like the Kinect. I think they're just garbage. I'm given the motion controls of the Wii were garbage. But, I mean, this tablet thing, I still think it's a little bit of a gimmick, but it's a lot more than anything that anyone else is doing at the moment, besides the VR.
Yeah.
And we will revisit the VR at one point when we hear more about it. But in this video, it's all speculation.
Yep, so far everything is just speculation. And, well, I think we'll leave it there. Simon, thanks again for joining me.
Yep, not a problem. See you guys.
Ciao for now.